Good morning, everyone. Saturday, October the 16th, On the Block NFL Betting Podcast. Brandon Graham, Rob DeSona, Igor Henriquez, and myself, Joe Ferrari. Guys, crazy week as usual. I'm out of my Survivor, which broke my heart. As Igor knows, I was pretty unhappy. We'll get to that game when the time comes. But let's, since we didn't do a weekday show, if you guys have any game, really one game you want to discuss last week quickly that we can recap. I know I have mine, but anybody else really have one that they want to start off with?
I was going to kind of mention the sorry, Igor. Happy birthday, by the way. I want to mention the Green Bay Packers versus the Cincinnati Bengals 25-22 final. Mason Crosby hitting the cross, Mason Crossbar, right, going right there. That was just a really interesting game. Cincinnati gave himself a chance to win. But Joe Burrow, he's got to be a lot safer. I'm not trying to be a homer at all, but once again, if he goes down, that franchise is going down. I thought that was a really interesting game. The Packers didn't cover. I believe they covered. No, they didn't cover in that game.
Depends where you had the spread at. I feel Rob had a different number. I remember there was a few games, but yeah.
Yeah, really interesting game altogether. But that's my game.
Half to one or two, depending on where you got it.
Right. Yeah, so that game was really interesting altogether.
Igor, a lot of missed field goals last week and extra points.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the most entertaining game was probably the Chargers-Browns game that really went really back and forth, had about nearly 100 points altogether. So to me, that was a pretty entertaining game. I think the Chargers have arrived. And yeah, it was a great game with two really stellar teams offensively. And again, no Nick Chubb for the Browns this week, but overall, I mean, the offense was really clicking, and no real role for Odell Beckham Jr. on the team. So it should be interesting to see if they try to maybe move him before the trade deadline. But yeah, that was a great game of back and forth.
Rob?
Wouldn't like Michael Thomas for Odell sound like a really nice deal for both teams?
Yeah. It seems like Michael Thomas has wanted out for a few years now.
Yeah. I'll go with I agree with both you guys. Good talking points for those two games. I'll go with the Minnesota just for the reason of they are the living example of if you play it safe in sports, you're not going anywhere. Like it just felt like they just play it safe. Like their biggest moment of the last 10 years probably in the playoffs was like a 10-9 playoff game where they're blaming the kicker for missing a 20-yard field goal. Meanwhile, they put up 9 points. Like they went out and their big free agent signing was the very average Kirk Cousins. I just look at my Broncos and I'm like, I like Teddy Bridgewater. But he's so safe, and you don't win in sports playing it safe. And that's why I don't think the Vikings they're like a vanilla team that are never going to win. I never see them moving up in the draft, down in the draft. It's just I believe in being aggressive, and I just keep thinking that they're just a team that's never going to win being just safe, playing it safe.
Yeah, I don't disagree. For me, it's definitely going to have to be the Kansas City game that we watched together. And we'll get to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs when we talk about them this week, but just so disappointing. The fact that they came out, and especially with that weather delay, they didn't really regroup and come back. We've talked about how bad their defense is, but I'm amazed every week I watch them because it honestly looks like a college defense. Quarterbacks do what they want, whether it's Josh Allen or whether it's Teddy Bridgewater. It doesn't matter who the team is. Like they're going to do whatever they want, and they're not going anywhere until they fix that defense. At the beginning of the year, I had some faith. I said, at one point they have to kind of get average. They've been atrocious. Chris Jones is really all they have there, and Tyrann Mathieu, and there's really nothing else.
And Jones is hurt, right?
Jones hurt. Frank Clark's hurt.
Yeah.
They're like injuries and just bad drafting, not addressing it via the draft, not enough free agent signings, and even we look at their offense now, and Mahomes obviously hasn't been great recently, but Tyreek Hill is getting double teamed. Kelsey's there not having his best season. He was a little bit better last week, but these guys are getting doubled. And I think what teams are doing is they're saying, beat us elsewhere, because you don't have any secondary options. Like, the guys like Sammy Watkins are gone that were there a few years ago. There's no secondary options, and it's pretty much those three guys on offense and nobody else. And the offensive line hasn't been great either.
Far more disappointing than KC was the chicken wings for sure. 100%.
Undercooked.
Pink. Giving me pink
wings.
Yeah,
I wrote a Google review, Rob. Don't worry about
that. Yelp review wasn't great, was it?
Is that bad?
I couldn't even focus on the game.
that comes up.
Like I dissected a wing.
Did you see the graphic of Tyrann Mather with his hands up whenever Sorensen messes up a play? Yeah. Hey, that's what happens when you pay Chris Jones and Frank Clark $20 million. You don't really have the money and the assets to kind of give around for better pieces, right? So they're gonna struggle. They just have to play better. Like Tony Dungy said that when Booger Fowler was on that team and they won the Super Bowl, they said Tony Dungy's like, hey, they're not playing well right now, but hey, it's just about effort. Just about effort. And so they have to put more effort in, and they're getting burnt in every single area they need to clean it up, man.
And we got to give the Bills credit too. They sent a real message out there at Arrowhead, a real shot to the conference that they're going to be a legit threat to cause some real damage. As much as Kansas City wasn't great, they you got to give the Bills some credit for really sending out a strong message there.
Yeah, and the Bills at 4-1 only lost to Steelers, but I don't think anybody at this point, people are sleeping on the Bills, some question that they beat up on some really bad teams, but they still beat up on them. It's more so like I think that people are saying, like, if this was week 1 or 2, I think that there would be more alarm sent. But now I think everybody knows who Kansas City is, and they have a long way to go if they want to even get back to the playoffs at this point. I was going to look back at the games last week. The Chargers-Browns was obviously really good. San Fran and Trey Lance, I know that he's out. They have a bye, but I believe that he might not even play the following week. They might go back to Jimmy G. Cowboys had another statement game covered again. Sunday nighter with Baltimore, they can't come back and win in overtime. Like, I liked Indy to win that game. Hell of a game they ended up covering. Other ones here, New England escaped at the end. Igor, I know you probably saw that one. They were not good that entire game. Lucky to get the win out there. Tampa Bay beat up on Miami. Philly ended up winning at the end against Carolina last week, which was a bit surprising. And then other than that, no real shockers. Tennessee ended up winning, which kind of surprised me. They won convincingly. Minnesota should have lost, but they ended up winning. Saints. And then obviously the Atlanta in London, which we'll start off this week with the London game. So what we have now is Miami and Jacksonville. And funny enough, Trevor Lawrence ended up saying to kick off week 6, why do 2 teams from Florida have to go to London to play this game? And especially 2 terrible teams. So if you guys want to give a quick pick for this one, we'll start off with Brandon.
Yeah, this is you just send them to the gulag, right? If you guys play, send them over to London, right? London town. Yeah, for this game right here, once again, these 2 apparently is coming back. He's coming back to actually play. Hopefully it needs a week or so to kind of get back into the mix, but they're favored by 3 points. I've taken Jacksonville before. This could be like a rally game for them. Like, it really be a rally game for them, but I'm not going to go. I'm not going to trust Jacksonville at all with this. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins to cover and win this game outright.
Igor.
Yeah, I agree with Brandon. I think the Miami secondary was really embarrassed last week by Tom Brady and the Bucs thoroughly, and they're better than that. I think Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, some stellar secondary pieces there. Jacksonville and their Urban Meyer really hasn't shown a lot of offensive punch. This should be a bounce back game for Miami. I mean, like I said, I thought they were going to be much better earlier in the year, and then again, I thought they were going to make the playoffs, but that looks like it's going to be few and far between. But against a really bad Jacksonville team, a field goal spread, I think it's an easy pick for Miami.
Rob.
Yeah, Xavier Howard out for Sunday, so no Xavier Howard. I can't believe I'm saying this. I love Jacksonville here. I mean, Miami last year had an elite defense, top 10. This year, they're awful. They're awful. Jacksonville's offense is much better than Miami's. The better team. I think I'm getting the better team here, and we're getting points. Jacksonville is used to this trip. They've done it more than anybody else, so it might be a home game for them. And Miami getting Tua back, we don't really know. He's got bad ribs. Yeah, it could be a good thing. Yeah, although I don't know if Miami's offense could get worse. I love Jacksonville here. I think this is an easy play. I'm gonna take is it 3 or 3.5?
3.
Okay, I'll take 3 all day.
These are 2 circles.
Circle this game. I just want to know. I want to circle this game. So you come back to it next week. You got to come back to this game.
I was gonna say, like, you look at this right here, and like Miami's 1-4, Jags 0-5. These teams are a lot closer than we think. We're giving Miami a lot of credit. They're a different team this year. In defense, Miami 30th, Jacksonville 28th. In total yards, Miami 31st, Jacksonville 22nd. Like, these teams, I go through everything except rushing yards. The Jags are 6th. Everything else, these teams are between 28th and 32nd in the league. It's not like these teams are really great at anything. They're terrible. Miami's bad. I agree with Rob. Devontae Parker's out as well. I like him. Tua's coming back off an injury. I don't know how great he's going to be. I'm going to take the 3 points. I think Jacksonville's going to get their first win of the season. I will make a mark of this game. Let's go back to North America. We'll start off in Chicago. Green Bay, division game, NFC North taking on the Bears. And right now I'm looking at the spread, and I have Green Bay at 5.5. Igor, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, these games are always entertaining, in the division games and so forth. Again, it's the spread at 5.5 is definitely interesting. I mean, Chicago has been much better at Soldier Field. I'm looking at the offenses, and I still, I think Justin Fields is obviously a work in progress. I think the Packers without Jair Alexander in the secondary are susceptible, but you look at both sides. You look at Devontae Adams is starting to click again. Rodgers is getting into his best mode again. I'm going to take the Packers in the 5.5, even though, again, usually in these division games, I like to keep it within about 3 or 4 points at the most. But I just think that the Packers have too much weaponry offensively, and I think Justin Fields might have a little bit of a struggle with that Packers defense, even though the secondary options are out. But I think it's a Packers game to win by a touchdown.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers. I had them at 3.5.
Gone up to 6.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Big move there. Packers 17-5 against the spread in Chicago, so it's the Packers have a big fan base out there, and 20-7 just versus Chicago in their last 27 games. Chicago's got by far the worst pass offense in the league.
Yeah.
They're coming off 2 big wins, Detroit and Las Vegas, and they've got a lot of injuries. The spread's almost at 3.5 was so fishy, but I'll take Green Bay.
Brandon?
Yeah, I have Green Bay at 6 points, right? They're 6-point favorites in what I see right here. But once again, David Montgomery's out. All right, the Packers are starting to come into form. All right, I think they're starting to learn how to win games, and Mason Crossbar cannot hit the crossbar again. Just having that run game out. Now you have Khalil Herbert as jumping in as the number 1 back and for the Chicago Bears, and we just know that's a recipe for disaster for Matthew Nagy. So there's absolutely no way I'm going to take the Chicago Bears here. I'm going to go the Green Bay Packers to take the 6 points. I just think this can be a game where they win by 10+. Easy play for me.
For me, the reason why I do like the Bears is Green Bay's going on the road once again. They escaped Cincinnati last week, and I don't think they're going to cover back-to-back road games, this one being in the division. I'm expecting Chicago in that defense to keep it close. They picked up a statement win last week against Vegas. I'm going to take Chicago. Next game, we have Cincinnati traveling to Detroit. Brandon's team against an underachieving squad in Detroit. I don't know if you can call them underachieving because they're absolutely terrible. But maybe this is one of the spots that Detroit can kind of show up. Brandon, go ahead. 3.5.
We've been saying that every single week, right?
Every week?
Every week we've been saying, hey, this is the week that Detroit's going to come out. This is the week Detroit's going to do this. They're at home, right? And, you see Run DMC, Coach DMC, crying last night when he said, when he first came in, so he's going to bite off kneecaps and then do it again. And then he's crying. So, never mind. We're gonna see. It's going to be a good game. I actually anticipate this being a good game. I think it's definitely going to be a Rutgers crowd. Joe Burrow has to rally the troops. But I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals with a 3.5. I think they cover this. I think they do win. I know I'm taking a lot of the favorites here, but it will be an interesting game. And I won't be surprised if they end up losing this game altogether because, of course, I'm a Cincinnati guy. But I'm going to take Cincinnati 3.5 points.
Yeah, it would be nicer if it was 2.5. But I'll also take Cincinnati. I don't really have much of a handicap here. I'm liking Cincinnati this year. I think this is one of the teams that I was kind of sleeping on, and I got to give it to Brandon and his boys. They actually look like a really competent team. The O-line's holding up a lot better. Yeah. Detroit. I worry about Detroit this year with these back doors. I think any close game, they're just going to rally. So I would love it at 2.5, but if I had to play this game, I don't have a handicap. I'll take Cincy minus 3.5 as well.
Yeah, Cincy better than the Titans for sure. Sorry.
No offense taken.
No offense to Brandon, but I like your team.
Okay.
We'll see if that changes Monday night. Igor, go ahead.
And I've been going back and forth, and I agree with Rob that at 2.5 I might think differently, but I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and take the Lions. They seem to be a much better home team, and it always ends up being a close game. They should have won last week. Probably, the situation with the Baltimore kicker hitting that 60-yarder was another one. So they seem to really play rather close games at home. They gave the 49ers all they could handle as well. So at 3.5, I think the Bengals will win by a field goal, but I'll take the extra half point. Take the Lions on the spread.
I'll go Detroit again. I'll take them at home 0-5. Don't have to win the game. They'll probably end up losing by a field goal or something like that. I'd be shocked if they win. But then again, Cincinnati hasn't been incredible. Their offense, I think, is we give it more credit than it is. I know they have obviously some star power there, but I looked at the stat here. They're 25th in the league in total yards, 23rd passing the ball, 22nd rushing the ball. Joe Burrow, I want to see how he comes back after that hit last week. That's another thing, right? It's not like he's coming into this game and everything's great. So I'll take Detroit. We'll move on to the next game. Houston is traveling to Indy, AFC South game. I have Indy by 10. I'll go first with a quick pick. I got to take Indy. I really think they're going to get back on track, and Houston still has a lot of issues. I'll take Indy by the 10. Igor, let's go to you.
Man, I was actually pretty impressed with Mills last week against the Patriots. He did a number on that defense, and they probably should have won the game. They blew it late, but at 10 points in a division game, again, I never like to take the double digits, especially in division games. I'm going to take Houston to cover the spread.
Brandon.
I've taken Houston to cover the spread before. It's always failed. But as I agree with Igor, Mills Mafia definitely rallied and picked apart that defense at certain times, certain points. But they're going on the road. Indianapolis actually should have won the game against Baltimore. They need to get a win as well too. I'm gonna take Indianapolis with the points.
You're gonna take Indy. Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I think Darius Leonard, he is probable now, and he's their best defensive player. I don't really have much of a handicap here either. I'll also take Houston plus the 10. I think Indy, that loss was devastating. I don't know how you bounce back. So I'll just play percentages here and say that there's probably a 30% chance they don't bounce back from that, and 10 points is a lot. So Indy probably wins, but maybe it's a field goal game. We don't know Davis Mills. We don't know enough about him that we don't know what he's got. So
I hate to say this, but Tennessee's sitting all alone in first place. I'm surprised. Houston and Indy have the same record at 1-4. That's to me, that's so shocking. I don't like the Colts ever since Peyton left, because it's just a division team for me. But I'm very shocked how bad they've been this year. But I can't say I'm surprised with Carson Wentz at the helm. And just the defense really hasn't been the same. We'll move on to another big spread there, and we'll go to the Rams taking on the Giants. It started at 10.5. It's gone down to 8. This game is going to be played in New York. And Brandon, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, once again, anytime you need a survivor win, just go against the New York Giants, right? They're always going to give you exactly what you want. That's why I'm still alive in a few of my leagues. But yeah, the LA Rams 80-point favorites in New York. Once again, it's almost as though Matt Stafford is going back, to the East, playing, weather that he's probably really comfortable with. I'm going to take, especially with Saquon being out, especially with Daniel Jones coming back into the fold. Not too many weapons on the New York Giants side. I do like Nair Stoney. I do like even the backup running back as well too. But I'm going to take the LA Rams with the points, 8 points. I wish it was around 7, but I'm going to take LA Rams to cover the spread at 8 points.
Igor, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Brandon. I think there's a lot of injuries on the Giants side, and I know they're getting a couple wide receivers back, but it was one of those situations where last week they were really humbled by the Cowboys, and you look at that Rams offense, you look at that Rams defense. I think that it'll give Jones, who again is also coming back from an injury, a lot of trouble. I think that it'll be the Rams pretty handily, probably by like 2 touchdowns. So if I can get it at 8, I'll take it all day.
Rob, you're on mute.
Sorry, this is a weird one for me because I have the Giants plus 10.5 at the opening line, but I have the Rams minus 7.5 now. So there was like a 3-point move. It was really big. I don't like 73% of the money is on the Rams.
Yeah.
Jones is probable for the Giants. I don't know if he's in or not. I don't know if they've confirmed. Saquon's out.
Mike Glennon.
Yeah. What else do we got? I can't read what I wrote here. But
Back, I believe.
yeah, I don't know. Somebody's got a tough strength to schedule. I don't remember. I can't see. Rams. Well, Rams have they had a strong schedule, strength schedule. So yeah, I'll go with the Rams here, but I don't like that a lot of the public's on the Rams. So really reluctant.
It's not surprising though either, right? Like the Giants, the only people that are probably taking the Giants are probably their fans, and even so.
Yeah, and the Rams are public this year, so they're gonna have a lot of money all year.
They are and traveling there. So sorry, I missed the pick, Rob. Which one was it?
I'll take the Rams at 7.5.
I like the Rams early in the week. I usually did my early 12 gamer on the Thursday night, or ended up hitting that one. I believe that I took the Rams on this one. Something's a little fishy to me. Usually when I get closer to Sunday, my mind changes. 71% of the money there, and also that big line drop. Like I said, I don't love either of these teams for the spread, but I'm going to go Giants here because I do think that some fishes up. And even the defense of the Rams, I'm looking at it right now. They get 411 yards a game. The Giants are giving up 418. That's 29th for the Giants, 26 for the Rams. Those are not numbers of the Rams defense that we're used to seeing. I know they're in a harder division, but that's not the defense that we're used to seeing with the Rams. The only thing that stands out for me, the passing yards, second in the league, not surprising with the way Kupp and Woods have been this season. So I'll take the Giants, and Igor, go ahead.
Yeah. For me, I think I already gave my pick, didn't I?
I didn't write it down. What was it?
Oh, it was the I'm taking the Rams.
Rams.
I think Detroit was really sharp at 10, and I think they pushed it all the way down to 7. And now
the Rams. You're picking Stafford.
I think BG's got to go, right? I think BG has a set in it.
Brandon, my bad. I'm still sleeping.
No. I already took the Rams too.
I have them down.
We're all sleeping.
Wow, we're all sleeping. Yeah, I took the Rams to the points. I went first.
Let's go to the letdown team of last week. Kansas City going to Washington. It was at 7.5. It's now gone to 7. Washington has had a lot of problems on the field and off the field. We talked about it in the group chat, retiring Sean Taylor's number. I didn't realize how abrupt it was until I listened to another podcast, and I heard that it was just, a few days in advance. They're trying to cover it up, just saying, we wanted to do it. There's been rumors of their emails along with Gruden's. Apparently the league will not be releasing any emails from what we know. That doesn't mean that people won't release those emails. Dan Snyder has enough of his issues. We know about that. With all the issues off the field, will the Redskins, will the football team, Washington, be ready to go this week? Brandon, let's go to you.
Yeah, so once again, the Kansas City Chiefs, I feel like the NFL just does this because they know, hey, they're going to get beat by an AFC team. Just send them to the NFC East to get a bounce back game, right? You got the Eagles first. You got to go back to the NFC East to get a bounce back game. I'm just not impressed with the Washington football team's defense. I had high hopes going to the season. They've been a letdown, right? They've been a letdown. Chase Young is not getting back to the ball as quickly as you saw last year. I expect them to actually, rise up to the occasion and kind of challenge this team. But no, I'm going to take Kansas City with the points. I say they win by around 14 points in this game. It's just a matter of stopping Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, and even J.D. McKissick. They get free, but I'm going to put my money 7 points on the Kansas City Chiefs, and they let me down. Never bet them again for the rest of the year. Mark my words.
No, they let me down last week. Igor, go ahead.
So, sorry, are we getting the line here at 7.5 or at 7?
7.
Well, 7 right under that. Okay. So
I have it at 7, yeah.
I might change my mind a little bit because at 7.5 with the extra point there, half point there, I probably would have gone Washington. Because I think, just because the KC defense has been atrocious, Tyreek Hill's coming in with a lot of banged up injuries, so that might cause a lot of issues there. If it's just a straight touchdown, I probably will take Kansas City because obviously on the offensive side, even if both defenses stink, you take the better offensive unit, and that's definitely Kansas City. So if it's at 7, I'll take the Chiefs and Mahomes there to bounce back. Again, not all that confident in the pick because that defense has been so bad that I can see them blowing even a big lead. But at 7, I'll take them.
Rob.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and I really agree with Brandon. I mean, maybe I'll go even further. Maybe the most disappointing team in the league has been Washington this year. We basically take them off the assumption that their D-line is unstoppable and they're going to cause havoc. If they're not causing havoc, the defense and that team is below average. So KC, their last 9, they're 2-7 against the spread. I know we pay a premium when you bet on good teams, but their last 9. 8 of the games have been very tough. It's been Buffalo twice, a lot of good teams. The one bad team that they really faced, they're not even bad, but average team was Philly, and they covered. So I think they're going to pick here. They're going to pick on on Washington here. So a lot of money on KC, but I will still take them. I had them at -6.5 in my pool. So yeah, I'll still take them at 6.5, 7, whatever it is.
So Kansas City, you've talked about it, Robin. I don't know 2-9 there last week. I would love to see the number from last season combined with this season because it's terrible. I'm really worried about them. And Washington is going to be missing some of their receivers as well. So Sims is going to be out. McLaurin is actually questionable. And then there was Samuel as well with a groin injury. So the receiver corps are depleted. That being
Logan
said,
Thomas is gone too. Sorry.
A lot of injuries. And
right.
I just think that Washington's going to show up this week. And it's not that I don't trust Kansas City's offense, and they're losing my faith there as well. But their defense, anybody can put up numbers against them. And when you're asking Kansas City to not just win, but cover a spread of a touchdown, I'm worried. The last time I believe they covered, from what I remember, was that Eagles game on the road. I want to say it was like week 3. Yeah. And they just covered that 6 or 7 point spread at that point. And I don't think there's too much of a gap between the Eagles and Washington, although the Eagles have a better record. That being said, I will take Washington. I will take them +7. And guys, what's going to happen if Washington escapes 2 and 3 teams? If Washington wins this game, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be really bad in Kansas City. Everybody made their picks. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Move on to the next one. Minnesota, 2.5 favorites going to Carolina. Rob, let's go to you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota -2.5. They let me down last week. I took them at a huge number. Again, I just, being the safe team that they are. CMC's out. Sam Darnold, I think he has like 5 picks in his last 2 games. He's proceeded a little bit. Big move. There was a big move. This was a 4-point move from, I believe, Carolina started as the favorite and are now the dogs. And Carolina's had a pretty easy strength of schedule. So only being 3-2, I'm not going to give them credit for that. So I'll take Minnesota here. Kirk Cousins thrives at the 1 o'clock spot, and I think they should cover that spread.
Brandon.
Weird things happen at Bank of America Stadium, right? Like we thought the Eagles would go in there and get trampled. They flipped the switch on them. At the start of the week, I had Carolina with 2.5. I'm switching now. I agree with Rob. I'm going to go with the Vikings 2.5. As you said, Kirk Cousins does thrive in the 1 o'clock. He's like, oh, people aren't watching me as much. And then he just goes off. If you put him in prime time, disaster. But if he's at 1 o'clock, he can fly under the radar. I'm going to go with Minnesota 2.5.
Igor.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina actually cost me a parlay last week. I was very disappointed. I thought, again, they would win that game handily against Philly. Again, it's definitely a bounce back spot back at home. But I think, the Vikings have too many weapons. I think Cook is going to be back, I believe. Again, Jefferson's is having a great season so far as well. They didn't do much with Thielen last week, but I think he'll have a bounce back game. And Sam Darnold's definitely looking like New York Jets Sam Darnold the last couple of weeks. So, in a field goal game, I'll take the better team, in my opinion. I'll take the Vikings.
Rob, before you go, Kirk Cousins, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 103 passer rating. Sam Darnold, he started off, I believe he was 6 interceptions, so 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Now he's 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. You guys are right. He's coming back to the earth. He doesn't look like the same quarterback he was during the first 3 or 4 weeks. He has regressed, and everybody took Minnesota as far as I know, right, my pick?
Yeah.
I like Minnesota too. I'm not really loving either of these teams. I like Minnesota before you guys all went. But the only thing is I am looking at Carolina's defense. 2nd overall in yards given up, first in passing yards given up, just 161. Dalvin Cook's been banged up all season, has been for the past few years. Just looking at that defense, Carolina typically has been a home team. Like I said, I don't love this game, but I will take Carolina. Let's move on to it might be game of the week, to be honest. Chargers going to Baltimore. And I have it at 2.5 for Baltimore. We'll check if anything's changed there. Still at 2.5, totals at 51.5. And 2 teams that I guess the Chargers are surprising to some people. Not to me. I've been a Herbert guy, that they are a little bit better than I expected. But I expected Herbert to come into 2nd year and really just dominate, which he has. Baltimore has come from behind a lot this season. Whether it be in the primetime games against good teams, bad teams, they've won almost everything. And like I said, they always come back in the 4th quarter. I'm going to have to take the Chargers here. I've been taking them all season. I'm going to take them again, plus the 2.5. I'm liking a lot of dogs this week, but Brandon, we'll go to you.
I think that's an easy pick. I'm surprised that they're not favored after the game they had last week. I'm just really surprised there. Baltimore coming off the Monday night win. going to be riding high, but of course, still less days to recover for this game. And the Chargers have a really physical defense. So they're going to be coming for Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson has been under pressure and been, I believe he's, under 40% completion rate when he has, pressure in his face within the first, in the shotgun position. As soon as the ball is snapped. So I'm going to take the Chargers in the 2.5. I honestly can see the Chargers going in to the bank and actually beating up on the Ravens. I'm surprised they're favorite, but I'll take the Chargers 2.5.
Igor.
Yeah, I think the Ravens have had a lot of fortunate games that have helped them with their record. You look at that Detroit game, which was a fluke 60-yarder. Well, not a fluke because give them some skill, but a lucky 60-yarder, I would say. You look at they escaped against Kansas City. They escaped against Indianapolis. I think this is probably one of the better defenses that they faced in the league. And to me, I had the same feeling that I had in that Buffalo Kansas City game. I think this is a win for the Chargers. And when I'm getting the money, I'll take the Chargers all day.
Yeah, Rob?
I'd love to circle back to that Minnesota-Carolina game at the end because I want to say something to Joe's point. But I'll take the Chargers here, +3. I'm with you. This line doesn't make sense to me. The tackle, Stanley's out for Baltimore, and the guard, Cleveland, also out for Baltimore. And they have 2 other guards questionable. So their O-line seems to be a little bit beat up. Lamar Jackson was sick this week. He was probable all week, basically. The dog is 4-0, and the road team is 5-0 against the spread head-to-head with these two, which both favor the Chargers. And yeah, it's a letdown spot for Baltimore. Like that comeback win, they're probably riding a little bit too high. The Chargers blowing teams out recently has scared me. I mean, consistently putting up 40 is hard to consistently do, but I would still play them here.
Especially against that Browns defense that we all like, right? Like they're playing some good teams. They're in that tough division. They're playing some tough teams. Home or on the road, they've really done a good job. Ravens first in total yards and offense, 452 a game. So best offense in the league right now is the Ravens. Their defense, we talked about it from our preview show of the season, that a lot of injuries on the defensive side for the Ravens, which has led them to 25th. It's not the same Ravens defense that we've seen. I wanted to quickly go through their schedule. Every game that they've been in has been within a touchdown. Week 1 against the Raiders, they're lost by 6, 1 by 1 against the Chiefs, 1 by 2 against the Lions. Igor talked about that. Their only convincing win was at the Broncos. We now see the Broncos are not the team we thought they were at 3-0. And then the Colts, that comeback win. So every game has really come down to the end. And Rob, I didn't hurt your feelings there, but I don't care if I did because you beat up on the Saints forever.
It's not a finger.
I hope they play each other this season. Looking at that, like I said, the Chargers, to me, I think it's just because Baltimore's always been a really good home team, and they just continue to win, both teams at 4-1. But I'm going to have to, like I said, go with the Chargers there. Everybody's giving their pick. Right? Everybody's on the Chargers. This is the first game we're all on the same team.
It's a bad sign. I mean,
yeah, definitely a bad sign.
Baltimore.
On the score app right now, 65% is on the Chargers as well. But just to win the game, we'll see what happens. I feel like the luck has to run out for Baltimore at some point. They keep winning, they keep coming back. Now they're going against a good defense. They're not going against Kansas City's defense. We'll run through the 4 o'clock games a little bit quicker, only because I know time is against us. We'll go to Arizona, traveling to Cleveland, 2 teams that have been, I want to say Arizona's obviously been surprising. And then Cleveland just continues to win or be in every game. Tough loss last week against the Chargers. It's right now. It's 3.5 for Cleveland at home, and Brandon will throw to you.
Yeah, this is the Oklahoma game. The Oklahoma quarterbacks in Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. I'm really excited for this game. Really excited. I'm going to go against the mold and kind of say I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals. Getting Zach Ertz now. Of course, Williams is out. Their tight end. They traded Arnold to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Ertz is going to be right in there. Don't know if he plays because he just played on Monday.
Not
so
eligible to play this week, though.
Not eligible. Okay, there.
He can't play.
Can't play twice. Okay, perfect. So no, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals to go into that environment. This is a game. It's pretty much a statement game for them. Go into that ruckus environment, win on the road, get yourself a good statement win. I think the Cardinals do have a few injuries here and there, but I expect that defense, Isaiah Simmons, Baker, Buda Baker, those guys should actually come out and start firing. And hey, Baker and OBJ cannot connect. It's not going to happen this week. They're just going to chunt you to death, right? Chubb and Hunt. I see
no Chubb.
Oh, no Chubb either, eh? Yeah, Chubb is actually out. Sorry about that. So I see the Arizona Cardinals taking this game with +3.5.
Rob,
Full disclosure, a lot of the sharps are on Cleveland this week, and I was with Cleveland too. But there's one thing that's really holding me back. They have a ton of potential injuries. Cleveland, like a lot of guys on their injury list that, Bradley Chubb or not Bradley Chubb, Nick Chubb that we know is already out, and a bunch of guys also on
Jarvis Landry still questionable.
Yeah, like it's just there's a lot of guys. I would stay away from this because of that. Otherwise, I would take Cleveland. Kyler, he's got a bad shoulder now. Hopkins was sick. Cleveland has the higher rated offense and defense, better yards per play, and there's going to be bad weather. Apparently, really going to be windy in Cleveland. So that's got to favor our running team. That will favor the Browns with their O-line and running game with Kareem Hunt now. So yeah, if you're going to play a side, I think it's Cleveland, but I'm just going to wait until I hear some more about the injuries.
I'll put you down for Cleveland now because we're not going to be able to change it. Let's go to you.
Yeah, I think this will be a field goal game, and that extra half point I think will be big. I think even with Nick Chubb out, I think that'll take away some of the proficiency because again, Hunt will he's obviously used to getting some of the work. He was the Kansas City starting back for one of their better years until they released him. But again, I think that Arizona. Again, has enough offensive weapons to and you saw what the Chargers did to that Cleveland defense last week. So I'll take the 3.5 with Arizona.
I liked Arizona going into it, but the usual thing. I don't love either of these teams for this game and this pick, but I probably would have to lean Cleveland only because a bit of a travel for Arizona. Chubb is out. Kareem Hunt is questionable with a wrist. We know he's going to go. It just. Like I said, too many injuries for Cleveland. For me, I like their defense. They got embarrassed last week because Herbert picked them apart. He does that to most teams. But I will go with Cleveland there. I feel like those 3.5 sometimes, the public usually tends to go towards the dog there because they do think it's always going to be a field goal game. It's not always, right? We know that. So I'll go with Cleveland there. Like I said, 33% of the money's on Cleveland right now, what I'm saying, which is a bit scary considering they're a 3-point favorite. So everybody then, except me and Rob, I guess, we're on Cleveland. They'll just
what was that number, Joe? 33%.
33%. 66 is on the road favorite.
Oh, I love Cleveland now. Change me to a love.
Love Cleveland. I'm
putting a heart beside that pick, Rob.
I'm sticking with that Cardinals, man. You gotta. Oh, by the way, Cliff Kingsbury's out because of COVID. That's okay. Put me on the Cleveland. Sorry.
Oh, Brandon.
There we go. Right, he's off. Come on board. I'm gonna go on and switch to the Cleveland.
Actually, they might be better without Kingsbury though.
Yeah, they might be. But I'm gonna
speak now or forever hold your peace. You got Cleveland.
There's a few coaches that actually are silent because of COVID this past week, so they all got it together in the room. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland there.
Well, based off of that and that breaking news that Brandon just gave, I might have to lean over to Cleveland as well.
Whoa!
Wow. I saw how bad New Orleans played without a bunch of coaches.
Yeah.
If that's the case, you know what? Switch me over to Cleveland then.
Yeah.
You guys just made Cleveland my lock. You guys converted to the Browns.
We take that for granted, but like I saw in that Saints game, like when you're missing a bunch of coaches, they're very disoriented. Like you wouldn't think it, even though they were missing just some wide receiver coaches and a few other. They were clueless out there half the time. So
you wouldn't want Jameis Winston. You wouldn't want Jameis Winston having to use his head and make some play calls.
Exactly.
You're asking a bit too much at that point. Let's go to Rob. We'll go to you. Denver is at home, 4.5-point favorites to the Raiders, who it'd be interesting to see how they come out this week after all that Gruden stuff. So 4 for the Broncos. The Broncos have, after that big start against some subpar teams, some terrible teams, they've really shown us who they are. They are who we thought they were.
Gruden's pretty funny. Gruden's pretty funny for saying, Goodell's an anti-football pum-pum. That was really funny, man. Aggressive. Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to get into that Gruden stuff. Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I feel like you've thrown to me like twice now, and on the games I don't have handicaps. I didn't even handicap this one. I'm staying away. I'm not taking Oakland. I don't know what to make. You don't know what you're going to get at Oakland. You don't know what you're going to get at Denver. We don't know about Denver. Pass. I'm not going to touch. I don't know. I didn't even write down the spread. Not going to. I'm staying away from it. So just give me one of the two.
Rob refuses to call them Las Vegas. It's always Oakland.
Sorry, I'm
It's always
sorry.
open.
Oh my god.
Well, between that and not having a feel for his own team, I'm kind of wondering what's going on.
What's going on here? 4-point
I'll
favorites.
take
of Denver
I'll
Broncos.
take Bridge. He's so safe. I'll stay safe here. I'll take Bridgewater. And sorry, I have him written down as Oakland. I'm gonna change him right now to Las Vegas.
Brandon.
Yeah, I agree with Rob there and his take, because that was a sad take. But hey, I'm gonna go with the Denver.
That was a very sad take.
I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos 4 points. I just think it's gonna be tough for. It could be a rally game for the Las Vegas Raiders, but they're going to high altitude. I don't trust Derek Carr in that. I think the defense will play well, so I'm going to take Denver with the points.
All right, Igor.
Yeah, this is definitely, after all the drama this week and losing Gruden, this is definitely one of those games that I can see Vegas kind of like folding pretty badly. So I'm going to go Rob's Broncos. I think it's a great spot for them to be in, I think, because like I said, the Gruden thing took up all the headlines. Team is going to take probably a couple of weeks to get over and get used to the new coach. I think it's a perfect spot for Rob's Broncos.
Rob Bisaccia is the new interim head coach. Apparently, he's a really aggressive guy. Yeah, he's a really aggressive guy. So we'll see how that is.
Yeah, word on the street is he's a big rah guy, and we know that Rob loves those guys.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Vegas. It's tough to tell me situations whether teams kind of tune out or if they really bounce back against the adversity here. I think these guys now, it's a nobody believes in us kind of thing, and they really rally together. I know Nassib took a few days off there. I think Waller's gonna go off here. Von Miller really hasn't been the same, and Chubb is still out there. The defense has been good against subpar teams, and it's still a pretty solid defense. But I'm going to take the Raiders. Hopefully, they can cover, even if they do lose by the field goal. Igor, did you go yet?
Yeah. I'm on Rob's Broncos.
Joey loves playing with fire, eh? Joey loves playing with fire. You're like a pyrotechnic.
Watches the world burn.
Yeah, especially these days. So let's go to Dallas, who has covered every game this year, traveling to Gillette Stadium and taking on the Pats. Igor, we have to go to you. Let me know what you think after last week. How are you thinking about this game?
So the biggest problem I have is that I noticed that the Pats O-line is an absolute shambles. So they're injured everywhere. It's a really bad spot. And unfortunately for me, based off a lot on that and the way that the Cowboys have been playing, surprisingly, some pretty good defense, and how that, the Patriots D has been playing against that Cowboys offense. It really does pain me, but I got to take the Cowboys to actually cover the spread again, because everything points to the Patriots losing the game. I think the O-line is going to struggle. I think they're missing like 3 or 4 guys that are starters. It's going to end up being pretty bad, I think, unfortunately, because obviously I hate the Cowboys with a passion. But yeah, I got to take the Cowboys to cover the spread.
I don't know what was more painful, you talking about that pick or Rob having to pick Teddy Bridgewater. And
that was tough. No, I think Rob's take was the saddest I've seen in a long time. So
Rob was
I'm gonna go with Rob.
So sad. I agree.
It sounded like Igor, someone kidnapped his kid or something. He's like, guys, I can't do it. Brenton, go ahead.
Oh man, I don't know what it was. I think it was Hard Knocks that really endeared the Cowboys to a lot of people, and I used to hate the Cowboys with a passion. I would never choose them ever. But I'm going to have to take them. 3.5 points, I think, is really generous. I think they win by, probably 3 scores, two or 3 scores at least. They're firing on all cylinders. On the road, yeah, it's just a game where they're going to go into Gillette Stadium and they have to shut them up. It's going to be interesting, and Patriots going to come out and try to bounce back from their poor win last week. But no, I'm going to take Dak Prescott and this team to actually rally and win and take the points.
Well, before you go, I want to give Dak his flowers. Like I did like in Mississippi State. I did catch a few of those games back when he was there. I believe he ended up going the 3rd round. He's really impressed me, not just obviously in his career, but coming back from that gruesome injury. I remember we did our preseason show. We talked about the ankle. We talked about his shoulder. There were a lot of questions. 13 touchdowns, 3 picks. The guy's been incredible. We know that he has all the weapons at running back and wide receiver, but I still just want to kind of give him a shout out because he's been incredible this year. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, apparently a really high character guy too, like beloved in the room, beloved by Jerry.
And I'm
loves
happy
him.
to see him paid after, you know, he didn't get paid before that injury, and Jones went out there and rewarded him.
You like to see when good people, you know, that deserve money get money. That's I think we can all agree. I should have gone after Igor because I'm also going to be very sad here. For this reason, though, Dallas is 5-0 against the spread this year. They've had a very weak strength of schedule. I like betting overreactions and underreactions. I expected this to be a massive overreaction. I expected Dallas to be a huge favorite here.
They were but 5. It's come down to 3.5.
Yeah, I was expecting this to be just the way Dallas has played. Their offenses looked great. I thought this was going to be huge, but at 3.5, I'm not as confident. I'll still take New England, but I was expecting a much bigger spread here because of, you know, everybody basically overreacting to Dallas. So 72% of the money is on Dallas. And I think there's going to be max focus for New England because I thought they played really poorly last week in Houston, and they probably should have lost. I think Bill's going to get on them, and I think I'll take New England, but I wish there was more value here.
Oh, you are taking New England after that?
Yeah, reluctantly, but I didn't. It's not a good spot to play Dallas, but I was hoping for more points, to be honest with you.
All right, guys, New England's 0-3 at home this year and 2-0 on the road. This is not the usual New England team that we're used to. Might be surprising to some. They have the 5th best defense in the NFL. Fifth overall in yards, Dallas 24th. We know about Dallas's offense 2nd, and then Pats at 26th. Mack Jones, I feel like there was a lot of, since he's come in the league, a lot of overhype. I think he's been average. At a rookie quarterback, I don't think you can ask too much. When you go against a team like Houston, I know he came back at the end of the game there and they ended up winning. I don't love them, but I love them in this spot. 3.5-point dogs. A few things I like here. New England's going to have to win at home at some point, and Dallas being perfect against the spread really kind of scares me. And the fact that it's dropped from 5, Rob talked about it, probably should have been higher at 6 or 7, and that's come down to 3.5. To me, that's a big question mark. 73% of the picks or the money is on Dallas from what I'm seeing. We saw this last time when Tampa Bay traveled to the Pats. Nobody really liked the Pats. I said, I'm not using much logic here. I just think that the Pats are going to make this conservative. It was their Super Bowl. Tom Brady went back. I'm going New England plus 3.5.
That's because it's a primetime game.
Yeah.
It was a primetime game. Now it's a 4:25.
Yeah, this one is a 4 o'clock game. Yeah, 4 o'clock game.
I would agree with the majority. Just again, that O-line situation really scares me off because there's so many of them missing, and I don't know. It's going to be to me, it might be a disaster situation, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think Dallas's pass rush is bad by any means, but it's also not something that's gonna, you're gonna have to necessarily game plan against, especially with that defense. So I'll go Pats 3.5. Guys, we have 2 more games, Sunday nighter and Monday nighter. So Sunday nighter, it was supposed to be Wilson against Big Ben. If this was, 5 years ago, it'd be a great game, but it's not. Russell Wilson's out. Looks like he's going to be out for a while, maybe most of the season. Seahawks 5.5-point dogs traveling to Heinz Field there where Pittsburgh is going to, probably going to get the win. But Igor, we'll go to you first. Let us know.
I mean, in other situations, obviously, I think the numbers based off the fact that, there's no Chris Carson, there's no Russell Wilson for the Seahawks. I can't trust Geno Smith on the road. I've seen enough of Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith is pretty average or, actually pretty terrible against a Steelers pass rush that is actually one of the better ones in the league. I hate taking the Steelers and Big Ben with the numbers and so forth, but, I just don't trust Geno to keep the game close. So I'm taking the Steelers to cover the 5.5.
All right, Brandon.
I was intrigued with this game the entire week, and then I got the update that the Seahawks were trying out Blake Bortles. So I'm like, hell no. I'm going to go right on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? They're 5.5 favorites, right, in Heinz Field. I think that they, had to win last week. Right, bounce back. Going up against this team, I'm just not confident in the Seahawks offense at all. I think they're going to struggle. And I just think the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than advertised. They're better than what we think they are. Right. I think a lot of people kind of, just tell them that, just kind of predict the fact that they're not going to play well because Ben's getting older, this and that. Ben can still sling it. Ben can still throw the ball down the field. Right. He can still get these guys open. They still have a great receiving core. Once again, Ginger Smith is out, but I think Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, I'm going for those guys they're gonna make plays. And Najee Harris, we don't talk about them enough, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than we say. And I think they're going to win this game and cover.
All right, Rob.
Yeah, I agree. And I have a slogan for this game. It's called Pit or Pass. So it's either you take Pittsburgh or you pass the game. Seattle has the 32nd ranked defense. And I don't know where their offense is if Russell Wilson doesn't play. Like, this could be arguably the worst team, maybe even worse than Jacksonville. Because I think Seattle is bad and Russell covers up a lot of problems. I think that their offense is really bad without Russell. I think their defense is really bad. The favorite is 5-1 against the spread, and the home team is 5-1 against the spread in these head-to-head against between these two. So both favor Pittsburgh, and Seattle is minus yards per play their last 4 games. That's with Russell Wilson. Without him, I don't even want to know what they're going to be. I love Pittsburgh in this game. I don't know why it's only 5. This is saying that Pittsburgh's only 2 points better without Russell Wilson. I think Pittsburgh is 5 or 6 points better without Russell before the home field advantage. So I think there's a lot of value here.
I think we're giving the Steelers, like, there are a few obvious things here. Rob, you talked about it. 32nd ranked defense, 31st against the rush, 31st against the pass. Their offense mediocre with Russell Wilson, with Russell. And Pittsburgh's offense, 27th. We know the big names. We know the big names. They're 31st in rushing yards with Najee Harris. And I love Najee Harris. Their O-line is not good. We see that with Ben, running for his life, walking for his life, and being tackled. He can't move around. I just think that this game might come. Like, I don't see the Steelers being a good team. Brandon talked about it. Juju's out for the season. It's a contract year for him to re-up for the 1 year. Like, it's not like he was, necessarily a Pro Bowl or anything. These are 3 guys at least you have some targets with. And Jamal Adams has faced a lot of criticism. Seattle has for that trade, that contract. Rob, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'd love to jump in. So you said that Pittsburgh has a bad offense. Can I just give you the teams they played?
Yeah.
Buffalo, top-ranked defense. Vegas, Cincy, decent. Green Bay, pretty good defense. Denver, really good defense. So their offense, those numbers might be based off of they face some good defenses.
Good point, Rob.
Good point. At some point, you still have to put up some numbers against the team, right?
I don't know if they're 27th ranked offense. I'd probably give them like 21st. I think that's a little skewed. But anyway, sorry, Joe. Go on.
No, fair enough. That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. But at the same point, I'm taking Seattle, baby. Give me Seattle plus the 5.5.
Trusting Geno Smith.
Thanks for trying to turn me around, but I'm not doing it. Give me Seattle plus the 5.
The number is so fishy. It is.
You know what? Is it fishy
yes.
though? What do you think it should be at?
Well, hold on.
Should it be 8?
Is it Bortles or is it Geno?
It's
Geno Smith. They're just trying
Geno was, I want to say, perfect before he threw that pick when they're like, go win us a game. When they said, go win us a game at the end, he threw a pick. But when there was no pressure, I didn't watch the game, but I saw the numbers. The numbers were decent. Well. He was, like I said, he was 8 for 8 or something going in. And Pittsburgh defense isn't scaring me because it's not the same defense as was. It's still pretty solid. But the numbers are telling me right now that it's an average defense. Although they've placed apparently some very good competition, as Rob has brought to my attention.
Played very good defenses. Yeah, actually, Buffalo's
but their defense is pretty good too. That, like, one thing I'll always give them credit for is the defense. Last game of the week, the Buffalo Bills are taking on the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's at home. Rob will go to you since you're the Titans hater. Let's see what it is. 6.5.
Yeah, I didn't break this one down. I do know Tennessee. You can help me here. Tennessee's got a lot of injuries. No, Joe? Like major injuries?
AJ's back. Julio has not played in 2 weeks. It actually went from 6.5. It's down to 5.5. Milano's out or questionable. He's been a pretty good linebacker for them this season.
Jeb Edwards.
Brown, the linebacker's out. But I think that Julio's probably going to go. He's taking a few weeks off, and I don't know how serious that injury was. I know it was a hamstring thing, so those things can kind of linger. But AJ was back. Maybe a letdown game for the Bills, guys. I don't know. Let me know how you feel.
So yeah, I'm asking questions, which means I don't have much of a handicap here. Yeah, the Bills have been killing people, and it's just like at some point they're gonna have a game where they're off, where things are not clicking. But I'm not gonna bet against that, and I sure as heck aren't gonna bet with the Titans because sorry, Joe.
Oh man.
I would pass this game.
Buffalo last year in the same. I think it was Sunday night or last week, and they're pretty much the same teams,
so
right?
Buffalo probably got up. I'll take Tennessee. I'll just take the points here. Buffalo got up for that game. I think Buffalo last week, that was their statement of AFC championship revenge. So maybe they might not be as focused. So I'll take Buffalo here. Tennessee, sorry.
Someone give me a convincing pick. Igor, let's go to you.
I'm pretty convinced. I'm taking Buffalo.
There
Again,
we go, baby.
I agree that at the end of the day that it's going to possibly be a letdown game, but I've just seen so much of that Titans secondary and it being so bad and against a Bills team that has a lot of weapons offensively. I mean, Knox has been great. Diggs had a subpar game against Kansas City, and they still put up huge numbers. So I think that Bills receiving core is going to give the Titans a lot of problems. And again, A.J. Brown's going to get locked up by White on the Bills secondary.
Julio is playing.
Julio is playing, yeah. But again, I think it's going to be a bit of a slugfest, and I think the Bills' defense is a better defense. So if I'm getting 5.5, which is a touchdown situation, pretty much, I'm taking the Bills to cover that number.
Not surprising, Brandon.
Yeah, you're surprised when you see Tyrann Mathieu put up his hands. It's every play. Kevin Byard just put up his hands. That secondary is awful.
What the hell is going on?
What's going on? Right? But they got Jordan Poyer. I played a really good game. They have oh my gosh, Tre'Davious White. They have great players in that secondary, and they all make plays. All right, their D line is really stout, and of course, once again, the Buffalo Bills are going into this game playing two pretty competent teams. Well, sometimes Tennessee has a hangover sometimes, but they're playing team these past 2 weeks, and they can actually make a statement. I think the Buffalo Bills, honestly, if you really were to ask me, if it's them and the LA Rams are the best team in the league, and of course Tampa Bay's there too. I think the Buffalo Bills have taken that step up and been like, hey, we are the best team in the league right now. And I think it's just one of those games. Hey, you lost to the Jets. You have your two receivers coming back. That's not going to solve everything. Give me Jalen. I'm sorry, Jalen. Give me. Oh my God, Allen. Oh my God, what? I don't know. Josh Allen. Give me Josh Allen. Give me the.
We need a few double espressos.
Jared Allen.
Yeah, I need some coffee. Oh my goodness, I was getting all of them mixed up. No, no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
I'm going to put all three of you guys through a Buffalo Bills table after this week because Tennessee's coming out. They're going to win this game.
Wow.
Both teams tied in offense. The Tennessee's the slight edge here. Surprisingly, Tennessee has the better offense in terms of the stats here, guys. Passing yards not the case. I want to see how Buffalo and that defense holds up against Derrick Henry. Rob talked about it. That's what Tennessee has, their calling card. They run the ball. I want to see how the Bills can really defend him and then open up some passing lanes for the other guys. Never been a Tannehill guy, as you guys know, but I think that if they can get that run game going, get the play action, and then throw the ball, I think they're going to have some success. It's a home game. It's a Monday nighter. This team usually does good in this kind of spots. Like I said, they did beat the Bills last year for whatever that's worth. Buffalo does have the number one defense in the NFL. And I believe they're by themselves. Number one in total, number two in passing yards, and number three in rushing yards, first in points. They're giving up just 12.8 points a game. Rob talked about it, about their schedule. Now, granted, they played Houston, they played Miami, two teams who they did shut out that are bottom feeders. But now you're going against, at least what Rob might not want to say, but probably a playoff team, even though they are in the AFC South and that division is terrible. Guys, I might sprinkle a little Super Bowl pick on the Titans here just to donate some money to Vegas. But yeah, you guys know I typically don't like taking my team, but I do like them in the spot. Bills back-to-back road games, back-to-back primetime games for them as well. And I'm going to take the points. And I'm not sure if they're going to win, but that's going to be one of my locks of the week. So I'll give my first, and that's going to be part of my 5 is going to be the Titans plus 5.5. And we'll run through our picks quickly. Igor, give us one of your 5.
So one of my 5 is I'm going to take the Chargers, getting that 2.5. That'll be my one of my top 5 right there.
Brandon.
I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys as one of my favorites. It's 3.5.
Rob.
You're muted.
No, I think you're just thinking. Oh, no.
Sorry. No, I was muted. I'll take Cleveland.
Cleveland. Throwing it back to me, and I'm going to take the Pats plus the 3.5. Brandon.
Oh, this is a tough one, man. Okay, give me the Minnesota Vikings 2.5.
Kirk, Captain Kirk.
Come on, Kirk. Come on, 1:00 games. Come on.
Igor.
Steelers 5.5 on Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
Okay.
That's dangerous.
Pittsburgh.
Rob, was that Pittsburgh for you too?
Yeah, Rob won Pittsburgh as well.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Pittsburgh, okay. I'm going to take, I like a lot of dogs this week, but I'm going to take Indy by the 10. I think they're going to absolutely crush Houston. I think Houston is going to have a lot of problems scoring points here. Maybe I'll call for my third shutout that I've predicted.
Yeah, you're money when you call these, like, I don't know how they're going to score games.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Indy by the 10. Igor, let's go to you.
I'm going to take the Rams to cover against the Giants.
So you have it at 8. Igor
8.
with
Yeah,
the Giants Giants by 8, right?
No, Rams. Taking the Rams.
Rams by 8. Brandon?
I'm going to take the Chargers plus 2.5.
LA plus the 2.5. Rob?
I'm going to take my Jacksonville or Toronto Jaguars. My Toronto Jaguars are going to do it.
Wow.
Thanks. I like that pick.
Thank you.
My fourth pick is going to be Cleveland minus the 3.5 at the Doghouse. Igor?
Going Green Bay to cover against Chicago.
Ooh. You have that at 6. That's going to be back-to-back covers on the road for Green Bay. Rob?
I'll have what he's having. Famous movie line. Or I'll have what she's having.
More
Green Bay.
For Rob.
Give me the Green Bay.
Brandon?
Oh my gosh. Give me Cleveland. I didn't pick Cleveland first. Give me Cleveland.
And you were sold on Kingsbury and those guys.
Yeah, Kingsbury, those guys. I'm just trying. Okay, I'm trusting COVID here. That's what it is.
I'm trying to find another. Like, I have my 5th pick. I'm just trying to see if I like any other favorites here. I don't. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville also. Jacksonville plus 3 points. Igor?
I'm going back and forth on going against your lock of the week with your Titans and just choosing the Bills, but I think I'll play it a little bit safer. I'll take Rob's Broncos to cover that spread against Vegas.
Wow, you got
Denver
some stones on you.
Denver by 4 and Teddy Bridgewater. Rob?
Jeez. This was a tough one. I want the Chargers here, but everybody's taking them. I kind of want to be different here. Give me Minnesota. Hell, I'll go.
Yeah, woohoo!
I'm on board.
Whatever you guys.
Kirk at 1 o'clock. And Igor, Brandon.
I'm gonna take. This is tough. I'm gonna take the Packers. Give me the Packers.
You guys are all over Green Bay, and that's making me love Chicago even more. We talked about Chicago.
Give me the Packers, man.
All right, I'll recap everybody's 5.
I think I only picked 4.
I have you as Cleveland, Minnesota, Chargers. Oh, did I have you as Cleveland twice? My mistake.
Oh, yeah. Take out Cleveland. What I'm going to take for the last one, I don't know what you guys want me to do. Tell me, like, give me some juju. Let's see. Let me just
take Buffalo. Take Buffalo.
Jacksonville.
You want to pick the Dallas
the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Take the Buffalo on the Monday night. Give me 5.5. Give me Buffalo. Give me Buffalo there, man.
Jay's writing down like a sack.
I'm making a hit list right now, guys. That's what I'm doing. Anytime you guys talk blasphemy on the Titans, I'm writing this down.
Hey, I got
the Rams.
I had 2 things. I recap the picks, Joe, and then.
Okay, so we'll go to Brandon. Brandon has Bills, Minnesota, LA Chargers, Cleveland, Green Bay. Rob has Dallas, Pittsburgh, Jags.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No. I have Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Green Bay, Minnesota.
Okay, so then I just got the first pick wrong. You have Cleveland was your first pick?
Cleveland, yeah.
This is why we got to go 5-5-5-5 next time.
Yeah, we will do that next time. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Jags, Green Bay, Minnesota.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Igor, you for Chargers, Pittsburgh, Rams, Green Bay, Denver. And then my 5 is most of the dog pack here. Titans, Pats, Indy, Cleveland, Jags.
Wow. The Pats and the Jags in the same pick. That's hilarious. If you go over 500 this week, I'll get you some good wings. I'll give you some good wings, man.
Guys, I'm gonna play 50 Cent. I'm laughing straight to the bank with this one. I'm gonna do the intro song for next week. You guys want to hit on all these wins? We will talk in the group chat. And Brandon, we're not going to All Stars. We're going somewhere with some better wings, and you're gonna get me a pound.
I'll get you a pound of wings from Huawei. If you get over 500, I will give you a pound of wings for sure.
Really?
Speaking of over 500, yeah. Do we have the standings? I think I had a really bad week last week.
Yeah, I think I had a bad week too.
No, my other notepad I brought upstairs, I remember because you asked for the other one last week and I didn't bring it back down.
Yeah,
Next
I
time.
think majority is, I think Jay had a good week, and the majority of us had bad weeks. For my
Yeah.
I'll send it in the group chat and we'll recap it. What I'll do is, now that I have them, I'll just put all I have a few different buyers writing stuff in. I'll put it in the same book and I'll come with an overall record. Did I have a good one last weekend? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you had.
I managed to lose money most of the time, but I guess I had a good week.
Yeah.
All right. Kansas City, like I said, killed me in the
Man.
Survivor. I did like Atlanta. I remember I think I took Atlanta also on that one, and that was another team that I liked. Trying to look back at these picks. I know that all you guys were on Carolina last week, so I ended up losing to Philly. That was another one.
Right.
Yeah.
And I believe most of you guys were on New England because the O-line injuries. I had Houston covering that one as well. We'll recap it. We'll look back at it next week. Dallas covered again for a lot of you guys too. Rob, I know that you had San Fran though. You liked the coach there in the dog spot. They ended up losing by 7. But we'll recap that, guys. Any last second thoughts before we wrap it up? One lock of the week you guys want to get ready?
I just suddenly got really nervous about the Cleveland pick. Like, I'm really nervous about that now. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm just nervous about it because Chubb's out. I don't want Kyler to go in there and just light it up, because he's capable of doing that.
Light it up against that defense though on the road, right? In outdoor conditions.
Well, they said the same thing against the LA Rams, and he just lit them up too.
That's true.
But that's an indoor stadium. Like, there's going to be some rain. And
Not really.
Going against Myles Garrett, running for your life. I don't know.
Yeah, Kyler is pretty bad in cold areas. So all right, never mind. Yeah, we did talk about that.
I converted you over.
Yeah. You know what? Never mind. Yeah,
that's
gonna be a good game,
right? Yeah.
That's gonna be a really good
last
game.
Thoughts
Actually,
for Rob and Igor?
Yeah, you said Carolina has a good defense. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think early in the season we have to be careful. So they've had Wilson in his first start, Zach Wilson in his first start, then Jameis, then Mills Mafia. They had Dak, and then they had Jalen Hurts. So they haven't really faced elite. They have not faced elite quarterback play, but they will not this week either, I guess, in Kirk Cousins. So
yeah, well, I'll just go through it quickly.
Spot.
So second in total yards given up. They're first against the pass, and their pass defending is very good. They took another corner in the first round. He's been solid. I've been getting Surtain and Horn mixed up. I'm not sure which one they have, but they've been really good there.
Horn, I believe they took
Horn. Yeah, they have Horn, who's been incredible. And then the Russian defense, I want to say forever, has always been really good.
Yep.
And they've always been a good home team. So let's see.
Good defense, but I don't think they're top 5. I think they're good though.
No, they're probably not top 5 when the season's done, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're top 10. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week. For Joe, Robin, Brandon, and Igor, we will chat with you guys next week, and good luck on your picks. Have a good weekend.
Keep on.